Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bogart on Movies, airing right here on your premier public broadcasting station, WXEL-TV. Remember, you can watch the show online at WXEL.org. Now it's just 2 weeks until Oscar time, and for me, the anticipation is really starting to build. This week, along with our usual show, we'll also have my reviews of the last 3 Oscar-nominated movies. And remember, next week, I'll have my Oscar picks. And if I don't mind giving myself a pat on the back, and I don't, last year I was right about everything, including Ang Lee. So you don't want to miss that. Anyway, to complete our look at the Oscar-nominated films, it's The Wonderful Nebraska, The Not As Wonderful Gravity, and Marty Scorsese's Wolf of Wall Street. First up, a movie that everyone seems to love. Everyone, that is, except me. It's the much-hyped space movie starring Sandra Bullock with a sprinkling of George Clooney, Gravity.
Mission abort. Repeat. Mission abort.
Explorer, this is Kowalski confirming visual contact with debris. Debris is from a BSE sat. Repeat. I have it right.
Dr. Stone requesting faster transport.
We have to go. We have to go, go,
Kennedy
go.
reports meteorological conditions. Go, go.
Houston, Explorer, copy. Explorer, Dr. Stone requesting faster transport to Bay Area. Explorer, do you copy?
Explorer, permission to retrieve Dr. Stone.
Your go, Kowalski. Houston, this is Explorer, copy.
All right.
We've lost Houston. We've lost Houston.
Look, we need to get the hell out of here. Need some help there, man? No, don't wait for us.
It's stuck.
Man down.
Houston, this
Man
is
down.
Copy. Houston, this is Explorer, copy. Kowalski,
Explorer's been hit. Explorer's been hit. Explorer, go to Explorer. Astronaut is off structure. Dr. Stone is off structure. Dr. Stone, detach. You must detach. If you don't detach, that arm's going to carry you too far. Listen to my voice. You need to focus. I'm losing visual of you. In 2 seconds, I won't be able to drag you. You need to detach. I can't see you anymore. Do it now.
Let's fight.
Houston, I've lost visual, Dr. Stone.
That's basically the beginning of the film, and it's very cool. Director Alfonso Cuarón has really captured the look and the feeling of being out in space. And visually, this movie is at times mesmerizing, even though it's certainly no Life of Pi. But the movie itself, well, here's my problem. First, remember the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks? Well, this is that, except it's in space, and it's got Sandra Bullock, who I actually like, but she's no Tom Hanks. With Clooney gone at the very beginning of the movie, she has to carry it, and she's just not good enough, not interesting enough to do it. And second, some of it, well, it's just ridiculous. Look at her smashing into that huge metal satellite and trying to grab onto things while flying by.
Brake! Brake, you have to brake!
Can's empty. You're gonna hit hard. Grab a hold of anything you can.
Now that goes on all through the movie, but there's not even a bruise on her. No injuries at all. I mean, come on. And there are a number of other scenes that really just couldn't happen. That stuff aside, no Clooney to speak of, and Bullock grunting and posing her way through the movie just didn't do it for me. I give it a so-so 3 out of 5, and only that high because the visuals were pretty cool. You've been watching the show, you know that two of my favorites are Marty Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio. So put them together in The Wolf of Wall Street, and you've got a movie that has Oscar written all over it. Or does it?
My name is Jordan Belfort. The year I turned 26, I made $49 million.
How much money?
$72,000 last month.
You show me a pay stub for $72,000 on it, I quit my job right now and I work for you. Hey, listen, I quit.
Move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
But if you can make your clients money at the same time, it's advantageous to everyone, correct?
No.
I started my own firm out of an abandoned auto body shop. We will be targeting the wealthiest 1% of Americans.
I love three things. I love my country, I love Jesus Christ, and I love making people rich. Hello?
Was all this legal? Absolutely not.
FBI, any kind of booze you might want?
No, the Bureau forbids us from drinking.
This right here is the land of opportunity. This is America.
This is my home! The show goes on!
You just tried to bribe a federal officer.
This is bad.
It's okay.
Rub my tongue.
Send in the National Guard to take me out, because I ain't going nowhere!
Now, the movie's based on the true story of Jordan Belfort, who made a fortune by running a corrupt stock company and ripping off absolutely everyone along the way. So first, the positives. The acting was tremendous. DiCaprio was spectacular, as he always is, and I hope that he'll get a nomination. There were only a couple of scenes he wasn't in during the whole movie. Talk about carrying a picture. And Jonah Hill, he was just as good. He just keeps turning out great work. I think he'll also get a nomination and is right up there with my frontrunner Jared Leto for the win. And then there's Rob Reiner as Jordan's dad and Margot Robbie as Jordan's wife. Not only is Robbie achingly beautiful, but a terrific actress. And the movie's not only entertaining the whole time, but it's really funny.
Like this will take her like 50 trips.
Let me ask you something. What about her family, right? I mean, they all got Swiss passports, right? I mean, she's got parents, she's got a brother, right? Brother's got a wife. That's 5 people, 6, 7 trips, boom. They're all Swiss nitwits like her. They'll do it.
Hey, don't forget about my money.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you, he's got some
My
money.
I got a couple mil coming in like a week. Yeah. And when it gets in, I'll give you a call. You come pick it up.
You give me a call.
When it gets here, I'll give you a call and you'll come pick it up.
Well, we don't work for you, man.
Shh. Sweetheart, you have my money taped to your boobs. Okay, technically you do work for me.
The movie is a modern opera, a feast for the senses, full of excess and debauchery. And in the hands of the master, Scorsese, the script, the camera work, the whole thing, it just works. The only problems are that the real Jordan Belfort's a jerk, and you have no reason to root for him. Plus, the movie is so full of the sex, drugs, money thing that you get it, and you want it to move on, but it never does. Even though the movie's 3 hours long, you stay engaged because of incredible performances. I give it 4 stars, and because of its stars and soaring direction, I liked it a lot, but it's not the best picture of the year. Now talk about a 180. This movie is it. Far from today's CG video game hits, this one's told in black and white from the director of The Descendants. It's Alexander Payne's Nebraska.
So you told the sheriff that you were walking to Nebraska?
That's right. To get my $1 million.
This is Woody Grant.
We are now authorized to pay $1 million to Woodrow T. Grant of Billings, Montana.
This is his son.
You didn't win anything. It's a complete scam. So you gotta stop this, okay?
I'm running out of time.
This is his wife.
I never knew the son of a bitch even wanted to be a millionaire. You should have thought about that years ago and worked for it.
How much longer is he going to be around? And what's the harm in letting him have his little fantasy for just a couple more days?
This is his family.
Woody here's the talk of the town. Why didn't you tell us you was rich, Woody?
David said not to.
You got it on you. Yeah, we sure would like to see what $1 million looks like.
And this is the problem.
God damn, Woody Grant's a millionaire! Next round is on Woody.
If Woody hit it rich and I don't see any of it, that would be wrong.
Are you threatening my family?
Now, the story is that grumpy old Woody Grant from Montana gets $1 million magazine sweepstakes entry, and he's convinced he won the $1 million, so he has to get to Lincoln, Nebraska to collect. Now, this is an actor's movie, and it is a joy. Bruce Dern is absolutely brilliant, probably the best performance I've seen this year. He's just one of those actors who's always terrific, and his talent just jumps off the screen. And the rest of the cast is wonderful. June Squibb as his wife is a standout, along with Stacy Keach. Both were fantastic, and SNL alum Will Forte was a good fit as Dern's son. And the movie's not only a poignant look at a slice of Midwest life, it's also funny.
How did you and Mom end up getting married?
She wanted to.
You didn't?
I figured, what the hell?
Were you ever sorry you married her?
All the time. Could have been worse.
Well, you must have been in love, at least at first.
Never came up.
Did you ever talk about having kids? Like how many you wanted and stuff like that?
Nope.
And why did you have us?
Because I like to screw. And your mother's a Catholic, so you figure it out.
So you and Mom never actually talked about whether you wanted kids or not?
Well, I figured if we kept on screwing, we'd end up with a couple of you.
That was funny. I'm so glad this was shot in black and white. Color wouldn't have given it nearly as much depth and texture. Add in a score that perfectly fits the film. Alexander Payne is proving himself to be one hell of a director. He has a wonderfully discerning eye, and he's made a terrific film about family, pride, and love. And Dern steals the show. He could, and he should, win the Oscar. He's that good. I urge you to see it. It gets 4.5 stars from me out of 5. Once again, it's time for this week's classic pick. And for this one, we're staying very close to home. It's Bogey and Bacall together again in the 1946 adaptation of Raymond Chandler's classic noir novel, The Big Sleep.
Can I help you, sir?
Oh, yeah, I'm looking for a good mystery on something off the beaten track, like the Maltese Falcon.
Oh, that was a fascinating story. But here's one that has everything the Falcon had and more. It's Raymond Chandler's latest bestseller, The Big Sleep. What a picture that'll make.
You mind if I look at it? Huh. Sometimes I wonder what strange fate brought me out of the storm to that house that stood alone in the shadows. As I probed into its mysteries, every clue told me a different story. But each had the same ending, murder. Every instinct warned me to beware that something more dangerous, more deadly than I'd ever known before was in that room. And suddenly,
I like that. I'd like more. That's even better.
almost 70 years ago. This movie focuses on Chandler's cynical private eye, Philip Marlowe, played, of course, by my father. He's hired by a rich family to deal with a crook coming after the youngest daughter, Carmen, for gambling debts. Then he runs into Carmen's older sister, Vivian, played by Mom. Older? Lauren Bacall was only 22 at the time, and that sets them both off on a trail of murder, blackmail, and sex.
Going to wait for him to come out?
Yeah.
It'll close for another hour or so. It's raining pretty hard.
I got my car. Yeah, that's right, it is, isn't it? You know, it just happened. I got a bottle of pretty good rye in my pocket. I'd a lot rather get wet in here.
Well. Looks like we're closed for the rest of the afternoon. Tell me more about this business.
Oh, there isn't much to tell.
What's the matter?
Just wondering if you have to,
Oh, not necessarily.
Little things like that make enough. Hello.
Hello.
That was Dorothy Malone, who would later win an Oscar starring with my mother in Written on the Wind. The names associated with this movie are stunning. Howard Hawks, who discovered my mother and put her in To Have and Have Not, directed and produced. One of the script writers was novelist William Faulkner. Yes, that William Faulkner. Is there another? And additional scenes were added by Julius Epstein, who with his brother Philip wrote a little movie called Casablanca. Then the score by the great Max Steiner. Steiner was actually taught by Johannes Brahms. Yes, the Brahms lullaby Brahms. Steiner did the scores for many of my father's films, including Casablanca, as well as a little movie called Gone with the Wind. So the big names were there, but there were none bigger at the time than Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. Just 2 years after their marriage and their first collaboration in To Have and Have Not, they were the toast of post-war USA. The second collaboration was this movie, and the phenomenon of Bogey and Bacall was in full swing. I was born 3 years after they were married, so I guess I was their third collaboration.
Take them long.
What are you going to do?
Wait a minute, let me do the talking, Angel. I don't know yet what I'm going to tell them, but it'll be pretty close to the truth. And you'll have to send Carmen away from a lot of things. They have places for that. Maybe they can cure her. It's been done before. We'll have to tell your father about Regan. I think he can take it.
You've forgotten one thing. Me.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing you can't fix.
Now, there's a lot about this movie we don't have time to go into in depth right here. The way the censorship code at the time forced major changes from the novel, the convoluted and confusing plot, and the scenes that were reshot to bolster my mother's role and exploit her and my father's on-screen and off-screen hotness. And in the end, that's what this movie's really about. It's about Bogey and Bacall, together again. It's about mood, it's fun, it's witty, and it's got tons of energy. When you watch it, you'll see why many think it the one noir film you don't want to miss. Now it's time to look into the Bogart on Movies mailbox. First, Terrell in St. Lucie asks, are there any Oscar winners, actors, actresses, directors, who won an Academy Award and did not have any big hits after that? Kind of one-hit wonders. Well, Terrell, first of all, if you even win one Oscar, it's a tremendous accomplishment. That said, some winners do just drop off the mat. Like Roberto Benigni, remember him jumping all over the place when he won for Life is Beautiful? and Haley Joel, The Sixth Sense, and Then What, Osmond. Those are just two, but most actors only win one. They may not win another, like Halle Berry, Cuba, Show Me the Money, Gooding Jr., and Jennifer Connelly, but they're still working. Remember, there have only been 85 winners in each category in history, plus a couple of ties. So as I said, you win even one, it's a big deal. And Mary in Wellington wants to know, you've been at the Oscars with your mother, and when she was expected to win but did not, how do those who don't win feel when someone else's name is announced? Mary, I'm sure many are disappointed. My mom sure was. But for the most, just getting nominated is such an honor. Take June Squibb, nominated in the supporting actress category this year for Nebraska. She knows she's not going to win, but just getting there and being recognized for her work is enough for her. Remember, you can email me at stevebogart@wxel.org and be sure to include your name and your hometown. Thanks a lot. So a few minutes ago, you heard my review of the Oscar-nominated Gravity. Well, all that stuff about space got to Carla, and her Can't Be Picked this week as we approach Oscar night is timely. Frankenstein meets the Space Monster.
Do your eyes dare witness total terror? Frankenstein meets the Space Monster. This is it. For the first time on the screen, America's missile might mobilized against annihilating invaders from outer space.
We have come here to this planet for one purpose only, to acquire breeding stock to repopulate our planet.
See the kidnapping of the Earth Maidens for the love-starved slaves of the sterile planet.
Very good. We have done well, Nadia.
I am pleased, Princess. You are satisfied.
I will be satisfied when we have enough more like her to commence phase 3.
See the terrifying invasion of the Beach Party. See a United States astro robot become a creature of death. For the first time, see Earth horror versus space terror. See Frankenstein meets the Space Monster in Futurama.
Now for my real hit this week, we go back to 1977 and the multiple Oscar-winning romantic comedy written by Marshall Brickman and Woody Allen and directed by Allen, Annie Hall.
A relationship, I think, is like a shark. You know, it has to constantly move forward or it dies. And I think what we got on our hands is a dead shark.
Woody Allen.
I love what you're wearing.
Oh, you do? Yeah? Oh, well, this tie is a present from Grammy Hall.
Who? Grammy Hall?
Yeah, my Grammy.
What are you kidding? What'd you do, grow up in a Norman Rockwell painting?
Diane Keaton.
You don't want me to live with you.
I don't want you to live with me. Whose idea was it?
Mine.
Yeah.
It was yours, actually, but I approved it immediately.
Tony Roberts.
The one with the VPL.
VPL?
The visible panty line.
Yeah, she's a 10 max, and that's great for you because you're used to 2s, aren't you?
Carol Kane.
What's your name?
Allison.
You're like New York Jewish left-wing liberal intellectual, Central Park West, Brandeis University with the socialist summer camps, and the father with the Ben Shahn drawings, right? And the really, strike-oriented kind of... stop me before I make a complete imbecile of myself.
No, that was wonderful. I love being reduced to a cultural stereotype.
The movie's about comedian Alvy Singer, played by Allen, who's trying to understand his relationship with Diane Keaton's Annie Hall, and it is just terrific. The cast is wonderful. Not only the above, but Christopher Walken, Janet Margolin, and even Paul Simon, and a cameo by Marshall McLuhan. As all you mass comm majors know, McLuhan's the TV researcher who coined the phrase, "the medium is the message." It was also Alan's first collaboration with cinematographer Gordon Willis, who was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Oscar in 2009, the same year my mother got the award. Just check out this hilarious scene as Alan and Keaton are waiting to get into a movie.
We saw the Fellini film last Tuesday. It is not one of his best. It lacks a cohesive structure. You get the feeling that he's not absolutely sure what it is he wants to say. Of course, I've always felt he was essentially a technical filmmaker. Granted, La Strada was a great film. Great in its use of negative imagery more than anything else. But that central cohesive core, that must lead through an artist's work, leading from one to the other.
Screaming his opinions in my ear.
That's what I'm talking about? Like all that Juliet of the Spirits or Satyricon. I found it incredibly indulgent. He really is. He's one of the most indulgent filmmakers. He really is.
Keyword here is
indulgent. Without getting, let's put it this way.
What are you depressed about?
I
missed my therapy. I overslept.
How can you possibly oversleep?
The alarm clock.
Do you know the hostile gesture that is to me?
I know, because of our sexual problem, right?
Everybody online at the New Yorker has to know our rate of intercourse.
It's like Samuel Beckett. I admire the technique, but it doesn't hit me on a gut level.
I'd like to hit this guy on a gut level.
Stop it, Alvy.
He's spitting on my neck. He spits on my neck when he talks.
And you know something else? You're so egocentric that if I miss my therapy, you can only think of it in terms of how it affects you.
Weltanschauung is what it is.
It's probably on their first date, right? Probably met by answering an ad in the New York Review of Books. 30-ish academic wishes to meet woman who's interested in Mozart, James Joyce, and sodomy. What do you mean, our sexual problem? I mean, I'm comparatively normal for a guy raised in Brooklyn.
Okay, I'm very sorry. My sexual problem. Okay, my sexual problem, huh?
I never read that. That was Henry James, right? Novel? The sequel to Turn of the Screw?
It's the influence of television. Now, Marshall McLuhan deals with it in terms of it being a high intensity, you understand? A hot medium.
What I wouldn't give for a large sock with horse manure in it.
Which uses essentially
what do you do when you get stuck on a movie line with a guy like this behind you?
Wait a minute, why can't I give my opinion? It's a free country.
He can give you. Do you have to give it so loud? I mean, aren't you ashamed to pontificate like that? And the funny part of it is, Marshall McLuhan, you don't know anything about Marshall McLuhan's work.
Really. I happen to teach a class at Columbia called TV, Media, and Culture. So I think that my insights into Mr. McLuhan, have a great deal of validity.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Well, that's funny because I happen to have Mr. McLuhan right here. So yeah, just let me come over here a second.
Oh, I heard what you were saying. You know nothing of my work. You mean my whole fallacy is wrong. How you ever got to teach a course in anything is totally amazing.
Boy, if life were only like this.
How cool is it that Marshall McLuhan was really in this movie? Whatever you may think about Woody Allen personally, the man is a great writer and a great director. This is a movie, to paraphrase Alvy Singer, about the craziness, the irrationality, and the absurdity of love. And Annie Hall brings us that message loud and clear, with all the hilarity it can muster. And that's a lot. Well, over the last 3 weeks, you've seen my reviews of all the Best Picture nominees. But we're not done yet, because next week I make my picks for the top 6 Oscar categories: Best Picture, Director, Actor, Actress, Supporting Actor, and Supporting Actress. Remember, last year I got almost everything right, with only a hedge on Chris Waltz. So be sure to tune in next week. I'll see you then.